Hey guys, on today's show, I want to discuss the gift ideas you might want to consider for the Christmas season for the ham in your life. We got a lot of stuff to cover, so let's get right to it. That's right here, right now on Ham Radio for Non-Techies. Welcome back to Ham Radio for Non-Techies and a special edition of my picks for great Christmas gifts for the 2021 season. Now, I know money's not growing on trees and people are having a hard time with things here and there. You know, I got a couple of ideas here. Some are inexpensive, some are kind of in the medium range, and I got a couple high-end things, or what I would consider to be high-end things. But I promise you there's something for everybody here, so just stay tuned. Let's check out what we got here first. Now, I think first and foremost, if you have a ham in your life that likes to build things, and even if he doesn't like to build things, or she doesn't like to build things, you end up messing with tools and equipment and stuff like that over time. And I think some of the best things you could possibly put into your arsenal would be a good set of tools for working with ham radio stuff, whether it's building antennas, building out, window pass-throughs, or messing with your radios, whatever. So a couple little items I want to discuss first. A good set of wire strippers. Absolutely invaluable. These actually have a crimper built into it, which I don't really care much for the crimper. But the way that it strips wires, you can adjust the length of how much it strips off by adjusting this little yellow thing right here. And you just put your wire on this side and clip it. Really cool. Let's move on. Next thing would be actual crimpers for once you get your wire stripped, you're going to crimp and solder, obviously. So another good idea would be a set of nice crimpers. These are ratcheting crimpers, and they have color codes on them for the different sizes of crimp options, and they're not cheap, but they're not overly expensive, maybe about 30 bucks. I've got links to everything I'm going to be discussing today down in the description, so you'll be able to pick these things up easily without any problems. But yeah, a good set of these. These are the Titan 11477 model crimpers, and they're fantastic. So they'll give a good crimp every time. The next thing I want to talk about is kind of a twofer deal. Anybody in radio, well, most people in radio, some that don't like it, that's fine. This is for those that do, or that might want to try it out, is Anderson power poles. I put Anderson power poles on everything. So I would first suggest picking up from PowerWorks, and you can get them on Amazon too, I think, but I'll look and have the links down below. The PowerWorks Anderson power pole builder kit. It's got everything inside you need. Different sizes for different amperages and all your little power pole connector things, so you can make your own power pole wires for any of your equipment. Now with that, you have to have a set of decent crimpers that are specifically made for the Anderson power poles that they crimp correctly and securely. So with that, I would suggest a pair of Anderson power pole ratcheting crimpers. These have ones for all different sizes, as well as the sizes that match inside the box here. You just pop it open, you stick your crimp connection in here, put in your wire, crimp it down, and when it clicks, you're done. So this would be more like a twofer item, but I would definitely suggest picking that up. The next thing I want to talk about is like terminals. You can never have enough terminals, especially if you're building antennas, messing with antennas, or you buy an antenna that doesn't come with a wire. You might want to consider having a terminal set. These are relatively inexpensive, maybe 10, 15 bucks. Be kind of a cool stocking stuffer to go along with, a crimper. But these are invaluable, and they give you lots of options in here for different wire gauges, different types of connectors, from spade connectors to all kinds of stuff. Just you got a lot of options inside this little box here. So that's another option I would consider thinking about. With these other things, with power poles and with your connections and terminal sets and stuff like that, you want to consider getting some heat shrink tubing, get an assortment pack. These are great to have for different size wires. You never know when you're going to need it, and you'd rather have it, not need it, than need it and not have it, right? So this is a great option for you as well for any ham in your life, especially doing lots of wire work. The other thing is, this is kind of unorthodox, and I use these on when I built my 891 Go box. I use these because I didn't want to have permanent connections on certain things. And this is a cool little alternative. These are called lever nuts. And you get a whole assortment of them. And they come in like, you have ones that go for 2 wires, 3 wires, 4 wires, and 5 wires. So if you want to hook up multiple things like switches and things like that, these little lever nuts are really fantastic, and I'll show you why. So I've got a lever nut here. I want to put in 3 wires. All you do is you lift up, I hope you can see it in the camera here, you lift up these little orange tabs here. They take a little bit to get up in there, to get them up, but you lift these things up, and it allows you to pop a wire in there, a stripped wire, and then clamp it down, and that's instantly connected. These are absolutely invaluable if you're going to be building out a go box or have other uses for them. These are really cool to have. Not really that expensive. You get a whole bunch of them in this kit, and like I said, I use these things, and I built my entire go box and used as many as I needed, and I still got a ton left for other projects in the future. So really cool little item. Don't knock it till you try it. Okay, so moving on from tools, let's go into actual accessories. So another accessory I would consider is simply a power pole distribution block. These are great. They're inexpensive. I'll have to put the eBay link for these on the description down below. They're about 25 bucks, and it allows you hook up your battery on one side and wherever you want to drop or distribute power to with the other 4. Now there are other ones out there, and there might be some better ones, but they're also going to be more expensive. I know the one by PowerWorks and ones by a couple other people out there run $50, $60, $70, $80 for one of these little things. So $25, that's a steal, great stocking stuffer. I did a video a while back talking about a dope book. These Write in the Rain pads. You cannot go wrong with these things. You can write with pencil, you can write with pen, you can write with marker, hell, you can do paintings in them. Great little pads. Always good to have something to have references out in the field if you're not near all your manuals and things. You can just jot down some notes and just keep this handy in your pack. So next up, I'm going to go into, I think, maybe some, well, I guess we'll get this one over with since we're on the first row here. This goes in a little more expensive now, but some sort of a antenna analyzer, whether it's a RigExpert, Nano VNA, whatever. I prefer the RigExperts because I know that they're quality. They do cost. These are about $560 something, but they have other models that range from about $250 and up. So I would say go look at the RigExpert website, or go to Gigaparts or even Ham Radio Outlet, one of those places, and go see what they've got offering. These might be on sale and might be going on sale this year. So if they do, and you got the cash in your bank and you need one, now would be the time to grab one. But these things are invaluable whenever you're trying to tune your antennas and make sure you've got the right resonance and right SWR readings and everything else that it does. So keep these in mind. Moving on. Every ham, whether you're just starting out or have been in this for a long time, you're going to want a collection of antennas. And they can be kind of a personal thing. People might want certain types of antennas for certain things. Fine. But either way, you want to have a decent selection of antennas. So my first and number one pick, if you're going to get anything this season, I highly recommend picking up a DX Commander antenna, whether it's the classic to have at your house as a permanent installation, or having the DX Commander Expedition like this one here, which you fit in your pack and take out for doing POTA and SOTA activities. So they run about, they're a couple $100. But you only got to buy them once. They're very well made. They work once you get it tuned up properly and read the instruction manual. Once you get them tuned up properly, you will not need a tuner to use these things out in the field. And with the Expedition especially, about 15 minutes to set it up. Once you get it set up, ready to roll, you got 5 or 6 bands you can go on, no tuner, and you're gonna rock and roll in your activation. The next one is another eBay find. And actually, Mike, K8MRD, turned me on to this guy, is the 10 antennas antenna. And this one does 40, 20, 15, and 10. It's an Nfed half wave. You got your place to put your wire up here and your counterpoise or ground if you want it. And it has a SO239 connection on the bottom for your coax. These run about, I think this is the 200 watt version. I think these run about $39, not expensive. Really good antennas. They work, and they work every time once you get your wire set to the correct length for the resonance. Excellent find. Going up a little bit, this is the KM4ACK Nfed half wave, also does 40, 20, 15, and 10. I've talked about this antenna before. We actually built this antenna live, And this does come as a kit. You'll need to go to his website. Just do a Google search for KM4ACK antennas. He'll come up everywhere. Get on his mailing list because they sell out. He comes out every couple of weeks and says, hey, I got these in stock. And within 20, 30 minutes, they're gone. So you need to get on the waiting list for him and make sure you get the emails so he lets you know when these come in so you can get yourself one of these. These run about $35. Fantastic little antenna. You do have to build it yourself. It is not difficult. Maybe half hour, 45 minutes, a little bit of soldering, a little bit of hot glue, and you're on the road and ready to roll. Great antenna, very lightweight, very versatile, and because it does 4 bands, you know, $35 for a 4-band antenna, not a bad deal. Moving up a little bit more, we have the PAC-tenna. This is kind of the unicorn. It's kind of the unicorn antenna. This is the PAC-tenna Nfed half-wave mini, and these run about $90. And just like the KM4ACKs, these run out really quick. And it's usually a little bit longer wait because I guess they're having issues with distribution or getting parts and whatever. But they're very popular antennas, very good antennas. And once you get it set up the way you want it, it's going to be a fantastic little antenna for you. So $90, keep that in as a consideration. Before I get into the more expensive ones, aside from the DX Commander, let's not forget the spark plugs. The 50-watt version, $45. The 100-watt version is $75, I believe. These are all kind of made to order. So if you buy one, you need to order one of these now if you want one, and you'll hopefully get it by the Christmas season. But these are great little antennas. If you haven't seen my video on that, go back and check the video on these antennas and see what I thought of them. I like both of them. I think they're great. So these are other options for you. My final antenna option for being out in the field, and I'm trying to find you guys antennas that do not require tuners. Lugging around an extra tuner, having to rely on a tuner instead of learning your craft and learning how to tune your antennas to the frequencies and the bands you want, it's a little counterproductive for me now. When I first got into this, I liked having tuners. I thought, I'll just cheat, have a tuner. I don't want to learn all this stuff. Well, once I learned it, it wasn't that hard. So the last of my tuners, or last of my antenna choices, is going to be the Chameleon lightweight Nfed sloper. And this is a fantastic little antenna. I think they run about $150 to $180. I'm not really sure about the current prices on them. Again, these can be in stock or they could be out of stock. I'm not really sure if they've caught up with all the orders they've had since last year. But this is another no-tune antenna. You throw it up in the tree, follow the instructions, configure it the way they tell you the different configurations are for it, and you're going to be on the air, ready to roll, and making contacts in no time. Fantastic little antenna. It works every time. The only addition I would say to that would be go to pick up a right angle adapter. Instead of having your coax sitting here and dropping down, you just put your coax right in the bottom and have the coax running down. This thing needs to be about 25 feet up in the air when you're deploying it. So that is my last choice for some quick antennas to have. Any of these antennas are going to serve you well. You will not have a problem with them, except for availability. So availability will probably be the deciding factor as to whether you get one of these or not before Christmas. But order now and get your order in, and you'll have it ready to roll. With those antennas, I also suggest, there's a company local to me here in Houston called ABR Industries. They're very well known. They have very, very high quality, probably the highest quality coax I've ever used. But they make these little chokes. And this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This has 7 ferrites on this choke. And I believe, I talked about this the other day, I believe I paid like $30 for it at a Hamfest. But I don't know what the actual price is on their website. I'll grab a link for this if I can find it, and we'll put that down below. But it's a great little thing to have. You may not always need it, but it's better to have it, not need it, and blah, blah, blah. Let's go into like stocking stuffer things. Well, no, actually, no, wait. Let's go back to antennas, because along with antennas, you want to have a couple other little accessories. One other thing you really can't go wrong with is going to be coax wrap. If you're going to have antennas outside as a permanent installation, coax wrap is probably my favorite choice for wrapping around your antenna connections to keep them waterproof. And I mean waterproof. This stuff only sticks to itself. You peel off maybe a little tiny piece, about 4 or 5 inches, and you hold it down, you stretch it around. As you stretch it, and seal up your area there. It'll waterproof your connections. Very, very good to have. Not exactly cheap. I think this is a 10-foot roll. I don't remember what I got here. I think it's a 10-foot roll. I paid about $18 for it from HRO. So I'll put links down to that as well. The other thing is, if you're building antennas or you get any of these antennas except for the Chameleon, you're going to have to provide your own wire a lot of times. Some of them will come with some wire, but some of them won't. In the event that they don't, I really like and I want to recommend the SOTA Beams 26 gauge wire in the bright yellow. If you're out doing POTA activations or out in the field somewhere where people are going to be walking around, this will be a little bit more visible than saying having a black wire running up into some tree somewhere and have somebody walk through and trash one of your antennas. So this runs about, I think in the States with shipping and all, it's about $17 for 300 feet of this wire. And it will work for all of your antennas really well. It's easy to work with, it strips easily, it solders easily. It's very nice to work with as far, I mean, you notice all my antennas down here have SOTA Beams wire on them. So, and I've got more in the bag here. But yeah, definitely want to have some wire. Again, great stocking stuffer for that ham in your life that likes to build antennas or has multiple antennas. Or if you're buying one of these, get them some wire with it too. Let's see. Next thing I want to go over is smaller items. Adapters. You can never have enough adapters when you're out in the field. And I always carry a slew of these SO239 to BNC male adapters. I have little caps for the SO239 section here, just to keep them dry. But these are fantastic. If you're using a smaller radio like the 705, which has BNC connections, you can pop one of these in the side of it, click it in, and then hook in your regular coax, and you're ready to get on the air. So keep in mind about different adapters, even like SO239, SO239. Just something to maybe pair two pieces of wire together. Say you're out in the field, you got two cables. One cable's not long enough, the other cable's not long enough. You can pop them together with one of these and be ready to roll. Other things are like, this is a BNC female to SO239. So if you had like a BNC male coax, you can pop this in there and then pop this onto one of your radios. So just have an assortment of adapters. SO239 adapters, PL259 adapters, BNC adapters, all kinds of stuff, right angles, straight ones. Whatever you can get your hands on, it's always good to keep a little bag of these around. In addition to that, I like these little S-beaners. These little S-beaner clips are pretty fantastic to have. They're invaluable out in the field, especially if you're hanging wire up on trees or doing whatever. I've got them attached to every one of my antennas here, just so I can put them up on the DX Commander Expedition pole when I'm not using the actual DX Commander itself, and run these up on the end, and I'm ready to roll. Really inexpensive, invaluable item to have in your pack, ready to go. And talking about building antennas, another thing to think about is toroids. These are 240-43s. You can get different sizes, but I use the 43 mix toroids to make my 49-to-1 Nfed half waves. What's on here on the Chameleon is a 240-43. I believe on the KM4ACK, it's not a 240-43, but it's a lot smaller one, maybe a 50-43, something like that. So if you want to make your own antennas out there and just do something completely from scratch, then you definitely want to have toroids in your kit to do so. Okay, so we've covered quite a bit here so far. Like I said, guys, links will be down in the description of everything I'm talking about here. It's going to be a long list. And don't forget, I have an Amazon store, which a lot of this equipment is in my Amazon store. Links are down below with little green check marks. So you can find a lot of that stuff there. And when you buy from my Amazon store, it does help me and helps the channel stay alive. Okay, moving on to more like POTA stuff. The first thing I want to discuss is when I'm out in the field, first off, I've got this really cool mouse pad that I bought on Amazon. I think it was like $5. I got a cool little lightning deal on it for $5. So normal price, I think it was around $10, $12, whatever. It's a nice, thick mouse pad. And I put this down, if I'm going out to like parks, I'll set this up on the picnic benches that are out there, or any tables I've got that I have a place to put my radio, have a place to put my keyboard, my mouse, my tablet, and other items. It kind of keeps everything organized, keeps it nice and clean, and it looks kind of cool. So these are another item you want to consider. And like I said, they're not that expensive, but you don't want one till you get one. And then once you have one, you're like, this is pretty cool. That guy was pretty smart. Okay, so in addition to that, like I said, doing POTA stuff, I guess we got to start off first with the two main things you're going to want. A lot of people, this is a personal preference thing. I mean, I'd like to bring out a laptop, and the idea of having a laptop is great, but I think a laptop uses up more power a lot quicker than, say, a tablet. And I bought a tablet specifically and only for doing POTA stuff, so it only has ham apps on it. I don't watch YouTube, I don't check my email, I don't go surfing the web. Well, I surf the Parks on the Air website, but that's about it. But getting a decent little tablet doesn't have to be very large. If your eyesight's not as great, maybe go with a 10-inch. But these 8-inch tablets, this is the Lenovo M8, I believe. And this was about $99. I got it at Micro Center. And you can pick them up at Micro Center. Best Buy should have them. Amazon probably has them. But they're great little, not the fastest in the world, but they do work. And I just need something out in the field to work, to log my contacts when I'm doing my POTA activations. So one of these is an invaluable little tool to have. To go along with that, because typing on a screen sucks, is a Bluetooth, foldable Bluetooth keyboard. Very easy to use. You turn on the tablet. Once the tablet's established, ready to go, you pop the little connect button on the side. Your tablet will indicate that it's found the connection. You're ready to roll. Start typing away. Both these tablets, or the tablet and the keyboard, both charge using a micro USB port. So they both come with the cables for everything, but you can hook them up and use maybe a power bank. I'll tell you right now, both of these have never run out of battery while I've been out in the field using it. Even when I did that day when I had to do 188 contacts in one POTA, or one POTA activation, these went well. They worked very, very well for a long time before I had any problems. And I always come home when I get done with the POTA activation and put them on the charger and get them ready for the next outing. But great ideas. The keyboard is about $34, maybe $29. Again, some of the stuff will be going on sale on Amazon, but I had this in my Amazon store. You can pick it up there. Same with the tablet. The other thing I wanted to explain was what I use to hold my tablet. This is my little metal stand. It's got a decent weight to it. When you put your tablet in here, it sits just fine. You can move it around. You can orient it however you want. That's going to be best for your viewing when you're out in the field. And when you're done, the whole thing folds up like that. I'd say it probably weighs just under a pound. So it's got a little bit of weight to it. I definitely wouldn't consider this as being something you'd want to carry if you're going to be humping it up a mountain. But I don't know, maybe you would. But these are really, really cool. Very stiff, very well made, aircraft aluminum, very heavy duty. And I think that paid about 18, 20 bucks for that one. Wasn't a really bad deal. If you're out in the field and you're setting up antennas, obviously you want to have a way to deploy your antennas. Now I, most of the time, will use my DX Commander pole and just set it up, lean it in a tree, done deal. However, if you don't have that option and you don't have a pole to throw your antenna wire up on, the other option is getting something like a guy wire or a wiring system here. And this is made by Weaver. So this is the Weaver kit. And you get a 12-ounce lead shot or stainless steel shot bag that you then tie around the hundreds of feet of rope they give you, which is very nice. It won't get caught in trees, won't get caught in tree limbs. You just tie this around like so, and then throw this up into a tree and then hoist your antenna up. They're really cool to have. I don't know, when I looked last time, I couldn't buy the whole thing as one set. I couldn't get like the beanbag thing, the rope, and the bag. I kind of buy everything kind of pieced out. And it came to about 50 bucks for everything. But it's a cool little bag to have, something you can throw in your pack. If you're out somewhere and you throw a wire up, this makes it a lot easier and a lot less BS to deal with. But in addition to that, what I also picked up, and I know not everybody has an academy, sports and outdoors nearby. I went to my local academy and I picked up these little orange aluminum tent stake, super, super light, really strong. And this allows you to pin your wires or your antennas down while you're in the field. And I kind of keep this together with this pack so everything's ready to roll. And I went over onto Amazon also and picked up a set of these little tiny 2-inch carabiners. And I got like 25 of them for like, I don't know, $10. It was nothing. But having carabiners, another cool thing. Having an assortment of carabiners, different sizes, 2-inch, 3-inch, whatever. Always a good thing to have. You never know when you're going to need one. And when you need them, you want to have them. So these are another consideration for you. And let me get this back in the bag. All right, guys, so next up, and you saw my video recently the other day, I did a video about Bioenno batteries. Don't necessarily have to pick up a 20 amp hour. If you're running a 100-watt radio or more, I would consider the 20 amp. If you don't mind the extra 3 pounds, go with the 30 amp. But for $197, the Bioenno 20 amp hour battery is great. If you're running a lower power radio, like a G90, a 705, whatever, or if you get that new 6100 or 5105, you could probably get away with a 9 amp hour for about $100 and have plenty of power all day long. So Bioenno is my next big thing. A little bit pricier, but you're giving somebody a quality gift that they're going to use all the time, and it's going to last many, many, many years. I think I showed on here with 2,000 charge cycles on this thing, it'll last. If you charge it every single day and drained it every single day, you got 5.5 years just on this one battery before you got to do anything or replace it. So the last little things I want to discuss, let's go with something just really simple now. I just created my own little QSL cards. And these are double-sided cards. I'll have the link down below for the company I bought them from. But I just went into Photoshop. If you have somebody, a friend of yours that's in Photoshop, or you're a little bit savvy with creating things, you can go on and create yourself a little image for the front, design how you want your back to go. And I think I got 500 of these for $67. So they're really, really inexpensive, very high quality. They have a choice between 14-point or 16-point card stock. I went with the 16. It doesn't cost any extra, but it's a much thicker, heavier card. And this one's actually being mailed out to a contact I made. But QSL cards, great thing to have. You make contacts, people send you cards. Ever since I started doing POTA, people have started sending me QSL cards. I'm getting like every other day I get a couple in the mail from people I just talked to on POTA. And I want to return the favor. Before I wasn't really like, okay, well, I appreciate that. I really understand what it's all about. But now I'm getting more and more into ham radio. I really want to give back to the people that took the time to make contacts with me and help me get my parks activated. So sending out a cool QSL card is not a bad idea. And they look really cool. So you can just design it whatever you want, any graphics you want to put on there. I've actually got a QR code on mine, so you scan that, takes you right to my YouTube channel. Kind of cool. So keep that in mind. QSL cards are a great little gift for somebody. And it might be a little more personalized. Maybe you give somebody a gift certificate to go towards one and have them design it. Or if you got a buddy that knows how to design graphics and things like that, have at it and make something really cool. Next thing is, again, going out. I'm doing a lot of stuff about, related to POTA here. When I'm out in the field, sometimes I bring all these antennas with me every time I go out. But which ones I set up is determined by how I feel that day, what I plan on doing, so on and so forth. I'm having a bunch of people out. I might want different antennas to play with and just kind of give everybody a sample of what these antennas can do. But what I picked up was a coax switch. And this is an MFJ, I believe it's MFJ, coax switch. I ended up getting this one on eBay because I couldn't find it cheaper on any of the big distributors out there. But you might want to check HRO and check out Gigaparts and DX Engineering. They all carry these. This is the four coax switch. And I got mine set up for the DX Commander, the Chameleon, the KM4ACK, and then whatever mystery antenna I want to have on the back. So I can run this back to my radio. These all go out to my different antennas. And if I'm on the radio, I can just, right then and there, switch and see which ones give me better reception at the time for the contact I'm trying to make. About $130, I think, for this. Very heavy. I don't really think it was made for bringing out and hiking in a backpack. This thing's got way over a pound. It's solid metal. So it's probably made more for like putting in your shack or bolting to a wall with little holes provided here for screws. But either way, I try to find other ways to repurpose items I get. or items that I find, and this is really cool for having out in the field just as an antenna switch. So that's that. Power banks. Let's go over power banks real quick. All kinds out there, tons of them on Amazon. Absolutely invaluable to have out in the field for portable power, to recharge your phone, recharge your tablet, recharge whatever you got where you might need some extra power. They come in different sizes, different weights. I think this one is 21,000 milliamp, and I paid about 30, 40 bucks for it. Not expensive, great little stocking stuffer. Even if you're not in ham radio, you probably want one of these available and handy for your phones and whatever. Great idea. Last but not least, if you have a ham or you that is into Morse code, consider some Morse code keys. Now, I picked this one up, CW Morse. So CW Morse is a Morse code key company. They sell little oscillators. They sell those little Morse code keys. They 3D print most of their keys, if not all of them. They have different sizes, different colors, different weight, different types of knobs for them. But picking up one of these and a little oscillator is not a bad idea if you want to learn Morse code. Really, really simple. You take the supplied thing in there, plug it in, and so you can sit there and practice your Morse code and have a great time with this. Morse code keys, at least the straight keys. I'm really into the straight keys. I got a paddle inside, but I haven't really learned how to use it. I'm not proficient enough in Morse code to use that paddle efficiently and keep my thoughts straight. So I'm kind of stuck with straight keys at the moment. But yeah, these little straight keys, I think this whole kit was about 50 bucks. Get the oscillator, and the oscillator will work on any key you put into it. So great little thing if you want to practice, even if you don't go with one of these little 3D printed Morse code keys, which are kind of cool. They're very light, but they do work. This is one of the first Morse code setups that I ever purchased. I then upgraded on eBay. I found a guy who restored a World War II J38 key, and I've since then added a wooden base to it. When I got this thing, it was perfectly shiny. It's just beautiful. He went through and just refinished every little thing on it. Very nice key to have. You can totally customize the look, the feel of it, and how it feels when you're pressing down the buttons. Again, I've got this hooked up to go into the oscillator or plug right into a radio, ready to roll, and you can go and Morse your little butt off. In addition to this one, I kind of got onto a little bit of a Morse code key kick, and I purchased another. I think it's also a J30. Well, it's like a J38, or maybe it is a J38, but this one actually has a clamp here that clamps to your leg. So you can put it on your leg like that, plug in your radio if you're out in the field somewhere and you sit there and just do your keying. Really cool. This was also a World War II era Morse code key that I picked up. I think about 50 bucks. Wasn't that expensive. It had never been opened. It was still in the package, ready to roll. Looks, I mean, it's brand new. Look at that. That's absolutely brand new. I know I'm a little far from the camera, but trust me, it's immaculate. Not very expensive. So, going onto eBay and finding some cool vintage ham radio equipment is another thing you might want to consider. If you know that ham you love enough, and you know what they're looking for, what they're into, going on eBay and finding something like this, it's a great little way to save some money, get a little piece of history, and still have fun with ham radio, and you'll make that ham really happy and put a big smile on their face. I think that's about it. The only other thing would be my alternative to the ICOM 705 backpack, which I will have a review coming up shortly on that backpack. But having some way to lug all your equipment around, your gear, I've got this backpack here. I also went on to Amazon. This will also be in my store. I keep one of these little military bags, little military backpacks. I added on some extra pouches to add extra storage features. But these are fantastic to have out to carry all this garbage with you. You organize different stuff for different pockets. I keep coax in here. I keep all my antennas in here. My switch goes in here, my battery. Just having something to hump all your stuff around instead of carrying around making multiple trips to and from your vehicle out to wherever you're going to be doing your outdoor ham activities. You really can't go wrong with one of these. I think they run about 35 bucks. Really good zippers on them. Very well made for such a small amount of money. I went over to my local Army surplus store, and they had something similar for about 3 times the price. So Probably not made in America, but you know what? It serves my purposes. It's sturdy. I'm not going to break it. And for 35 bucks, that is a win in my book. Anyway, guys, to wrap this up, I know we went through a lot of stuff. I hope you stayed to the end. I wish everybody have a safe and happy holidays. Have a safe Christmas. Remember, family first. And go out and have some fun with ham radio. And I hope that some of these ideas here prodded you and gave you some insight on things to get for hams. It doesn't always have to be an ICOM 7300 or a Yaesu 991 or whatever else is out there, big radio. There's a lot of little tiny things, little nickel and dime things that make a big difference to a radio operator out in the field or just in general. So don't discount any of these things I talked about. Adapters, extra coax, a slew of different antennas, stuff as simple as like a tablet or keyboard, and of course, most importantly, your tools to build stuff and actually be able to make stuff. These are all invaluable items to have, and I really hope that my little display here was helpful. I know it was long, but there's no way to get through this thing in like a couple of minutes. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. It helps me, helps the channel, helps YouTube's algorithm. And if you have not subscribed already, please consider subscribing. I do videos like this all the time. I try to bring out new products for you guys to check out. I give honest reviews on things. If I don't like something, I'll tell you it sucks. And if I find cool deals for things, I'll make videos to say, hey, you can save money by buying such and such here and there. So please consider subscribing. I really appreciate that. And until then, guys, this is Ham Radio for Non-Techies. Merry Christmas, have a great New Year, and we are clear.